All right, this is lesson 2. What do you want? Now, as I've mentioned, there is a tech to making network marketing work. Let's review this again and see how to use it in your business. Now, technology is the practical application of knowledge, especially in a particular area. It's also a capability given by the particular application of knowledge, a manner of accomplishing a task, especially using technical procedures, methods, or knowledge itself. Now, one of the key factors to your success is knowing what you want this business to do for you. It's almost as important as you're needing gasoline to drive your car or needing cocoa to make chocolate cake. Want precedes why. Now, want precedes why and creates desire, drive, and commitment, which are the same for most things we want in life. Take, for example, your desire to play golf or not play golf. I'm sure that you know those that like to play and those that don't. Now go ask the ones that don't like to golf to go on a trip to go golfing and see what happens. More than likely, you'll get way more no answers than yes answers, and that's the point here. However, there are always exceptions to the rule, and every once in a while you get surprised, but don't count on it. And at the same time, it all depends on what the circumstances are. And what if the trip was fully paid for? Would that make a difference? So again, most of these things are based on the circumstances. If you don't want something, then there is no desire, drive, or commitment, which are the key factors to getting what it is that you want. If you don't know what you want, it is almost impossible to plan and strategize how to get it. And if you don't know what you want, you probably won't get out of bed to go after it, and you won't learn any skills either. It's kind of like oxygen in that you need to know what you want so that you can build a business using the right tech that will produce a product that will be used to exchange for what it is that you want. Now, here's an example. When I was younger, I wanted to create an income to live my life by building some kind of a business. My friend and I had a bright idea for creating an advertising medium. Now, it first started with a calendar for a very specific street where we both lived. It was the Davie Street calendar. And it had 15 squares around a picture on the top part and a normal calendar on the bottom. Now, the idea was to sell the 15 squares for $100 each to the local merchants, then print up 1,000 calendars and mail them to the local neighborhood for about $500, which made us a nice profit of $1,000 each. It was a huge hit. We sold 15 streets on this idea, and then this turned into the next product, which was called the Money Savers. And it was a tabloid-sized, full-page advertising magazine. This went big time. And we had about 16 monthly magazines all throughout the city and had us a really nice business, which in turn allowed us to live very well indeed. But it all started with we knew what we wanted the business to do, and that was to generate 2 family incomes, and then we gave that desire an amount of anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 each. Now, this next part is something that I learned from this, and this will be very important to your future. And that was that everything we did had to be converted to a number. Now, let me explain, as we progressed in our marketing, this idea, we ran into circumstances where the merchant wanted the ad but didn't have the money to spend. So the idea of trading their products in payment for the ad came to light. This was brilliant, and that we could easily get things we wanted simply by creating the ad and then factoring that into the overall cost. So in this publishing business, everything became numbers. How many pages do we need to print? What is the cost? How many ads do we need to sell to cover the cost? And how many can we use to trade for goods and services? That became the game for us to get what we wanted. It was amazing. Therefore, whatever it is we wanted then was converted to a number. And usually it was number of ads sold, number of pages to print, the size of the print run, and all the numbers that were included. So in conclusion, moving forward, whatever it is that was wanted from doing this business must be converted to a number. Now, the importance of converting what you want to a number is that this is a business and it doesn't understand your emotional needs. All it understands is how much and how many and by when, and what time. We'll talk about this in the next lesson. With the want identified, all the plans and strategies made sure that those numbers were figured into what we were involved with. It gave us a prediction, and in the end, we got way more than what we initially planned for, which then led to bigger and bigger adventures. Now, when you understand what you want, then that must be translated into numbers, which then tells the business what it needs to produce to give it to you. Remember the cow business from the book. I have seen too many people try to build the business emotionally, which means how they feel, which can be difficult as a business doesn't produce based on how you feel. It only understands numbers, how many, how much, and by when. So at the end of the month, if there's no money in the till and you feel bummed out, the business just sits there and it doesn't do a thing. So remember that the business is something that you operate and you direct, and all the results that the business gets are based on what you do. Now, let me give you an example, and you are very excited about what your product did for you and the potential you have in front of you. You want to tell the world, and you're emotionally invested in this project because it changed your life and all that kind of good stuff. Now, the key here is it was your circumstance that created this. And this may not be the same for those that you speak with. But what's important is what you are doing as it relates to your circumstance, and then how it changed or what will you anticipate will happen. I found that I would use my emotional story as a validation of the workability, the overall concept as a solution to my circumstance. So then I needed to understand, well, what was it that would be most common in talking and focusing on in order to attract attention? And that for me became lifestyle and freedom. And these came through income and cash flow, building a successful business. Now, the key to this lesson is that we're all unique and different in how we look at and understand, and it is all based on our circumstances and what we want to do about them. Therefore, your success is based on what you want and what you do to go get it, and so is that for everybody else. Therefore, beauty is in the eye of the beholder will happen when the individual sees something that gets to them and deals with their circumstance. It's the circumstance of that individual that becomes the key. So now move on to lesson 3.